I'd like to call this Tuesday, May 6, 2020 meeting to order of the Oldsmar City Council. Before we begin, just a reminder, due to COVID-19 and per the executive order by both the governor and myself, we're meeting today by video conference call. All votes will be taken by roll call. Citizens have been provided the opportunity to participate in tonight's meeting by appearing at the City Council chambers. We've also established safe social distancing protocols so everyone can feel comfortable and safe. The city has a webcam set up, and our assistant city manager is there to assist anyone from the public who wishes to make comments under the Citizens Open Forum or for public hearing items number 2 and 3. We also have invited citizens to submit comments in writing to the city clerk if they wish to have something read into the official public records. And for our viewers, for the optics, so our council members have the white background with the seal behind them, in case you don't know who they are. And our charter officials and department heads have a gray background. It is gray, right?
Yes.
Gray, close enough. All right, with that, the next item on the agenda, the next two items on the agenda is the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. They will both be led by our city attorney, Mr. Tom Trask.
Thank you, Mayor. Our Heavenly Father, we live in the world you have created and are creating. In all we say and do, keep us aware of the need to ask how this affects the world around us. Keep us from forgetting that your creative energy is alive and active in the world today. In this time of discussion about the realities of today and the possibilities for tomorrow, help us all be people of hope. Open us to the promise that all will be well. May this council be blessed by your presence, and may the city of Oldsmar be blessed with your hope. This we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. See what I did? Never mind. The next item on the agenda is the Citizens Open Forum. Do we have anybody who wishes to speak can be heard during this time? They have 5 minutes to speak, and they must state their name and full address for the record. And the only thing we ask is that they hold their comments if they wish to speak to items 2 and 3, which are both public hearings. I'm going to ask our assistant city manager if we have anybody in the chambers who wishes to speak.
There's no one here today.
Okay, thank you. And I'm going to refer to our city clerk to see if she has any public comments that wish to be read into the public record.
No comments were received.
Outstanding. Well, that's probably a good sign. Just saying. All right, next item on the agenda is community minutes, which will be presented by our city clerk, Ann Nixon.
Right. Well, as we go along and things change and rules change, you might wonder if is it okay or not okay. You can go ahead and report the things you think might not be okay to the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office tip line. That's 727-582-TIPS or 727-582-8477. And then there are a couple of money things out there by Pinellas Cares. One is financial assistance for individuals, and that is a one-time financial assistance to individuals and families who have lost jobs or significant income due to COVID-19. And then there's also Pinellas Cares small business grants. Small business grants will assist local businesses that had to close or significantly reduce operations due to the pandemic. Now, these are limited funds, but it might be worth a shot if you need that help. The information for that is at myoldsmar.com on the COVID-19 resource page. And that, or you could call 813-749-1181, which is the library working as Oldsmar Assistance Desk. That's all I have.
Thank you, thank you. And I'll just remind everybody, and I'm sure our council members already know this and received the call, but in an attempt to get the word out quickly, I want to thank our staff for their communications efforts, the way that we put that out, and we did the ring out. I forget what it's called. It's Pinellas Alert. Civic Alert, anyhow, where we called our citizens to make them aware of the programs as soon as they became available. And also our staff who, once again, it's all about kind of repurposing and fitting the need. We made the time to make phone calls to the business community to let them know about the Pinellas Cares Small Business Grant. So thank you for the effort. I'm sure that keeps our citizens up on cutting edge and in the know about what's going on. All right, the next item on the agenda is the approval of additional new agenda items. We have no new agenda items tonight. So good job, everybody, getting things in on a timely basis. Next section on the agenda is awards and recognition. We don't have any that we're presenting tonight for obvious reasons. Next item, Community Redevelopment Agency. Once again, we have no items under that agenda section. And the next section on the agenda is a consent docket. And once again, I will have our city clerk, Ann Nixon, announce those.
Item number 1, approve minutes of the April 21, 2020 City Council meeting.
Man, you are giving such fast reports tonight, I have to tell you. All right, the chair will entertain a motion to approve as presented. Do I have a motion? Motion by
Second.
Gannon, seconded by Knapp. Any discussion? Sensing you're ready to vote, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Norris,
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Seidel.
Yes.
Minutes of the April 21, 2020 City Council meeting are approved with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you. The next section on the agenda is the City of Oldsmar. We have no items. I'll move on. Next item is City Attorney, item number 2. Our City Attorney, Mr. Tom Trask.
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 2 is a public hearing for the second final reading of Ordinance 2020-07. And I'll read that by title only. Ordinance 2020-07, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, providing a short title, providing findings and intent, granting Tampa Electric Company a non-exclusive franchise to use the public streets, alleys, highways, waterways, bridges, easements, and other public ways of the City of Oldsmar for the construction, maintenance, and operation of an electric system in the City of Oldsmar, prescribing the terms and conditions under which said non-exclusive rights and privileges may be exercised, providing a severability clause, effective date, and repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith. That's the second and final reading of Ordinance 2020-07 by title only.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak? Once again, our Assistant City Manager. Anyone? All right, nobody came in. All right, I'm going to close the public hearing. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion to approve. So moved, Saraki, seconded by Vice Mayor Norris. Discussion. Sensing you're ready to vote, all in favor, signify by roll call.
Vice Mayor Norris,
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Seidel.
Yes.
Ordinance 2020-07 is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Excellent. Item
Thank
number
you.
3.
Item number 3 is a public hearing for the first reading of Ordinance 2020-08. I'll read that ordinance by title only. Ordinance 2020-08, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, vacating an unnamed alley located south of Tampa Road, north of Commerce Street, and east of Fairfield Street, and providing for an effective date hereof. That was the first reading of Ordinance 2020-08 by title only.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. I'll confirm once again, there's nobody from the public who wishes to speak.
There's no one here.
Thank you. So I will close the public hearing. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
The moves Gannon, seconded by the Vice Mayor. Discussion. Sensing you're ready to vote. All roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Norris,
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Seidel.
Yes.
First reading of Ordinance 2020-08 passes with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you. Item number 4.
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 4 is adoption of Resolution 2020-04. I'll read that resolution by title only. Resolution 2020-04, resolution of the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, renaming the road traveling through the Oldsmar Sports Complex and connecting Tampa Road and Curlew Road from Windward Place to Winner's Way, and providing for an effective date. That was a reading of Resolution 2020-04 by title only.
Thank you. The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
So moved, Councilmember
Second.
Zaraki, seconded by Vice Mayor Norris. Discussion. And it's still going to be a two-way street, right? You can win either way? No? Good. All right, never mind. Sensing you're ready to vote, all, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Norris,
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Seidel.
Yes.
Resolution 2020-04 is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you. Item number 5.
Mr. Mayor, council members, this is an item to adopt Resolution 2020-13. I'll read that resolution by title only. Resolution 2020-13, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, ratifying Executive Orders 2020-14 and 2020-15, which provide for the extension of the COVID-19 state of emergency through May 4, 2020. Ratifying Executive Order 2020-16, which provides for the cancellation of the May 25, 2020 Oldsmar Memorial Day ceremony. Ratifying Executive Order 2020-17, which provides for the reopening of Mobley Bayou South Support Area to vehicle traffic and provides social distancing requirements therefore, and providing for an effective date hereof. That was a reading of Resolution 2020-13 by title only.
Okay. The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
Moved.
So moves Councilmember Gannon,
Second.
seconded by Councilmember Knapp. Discussion. Memorial Day. Sensing you're ready to vote, all in, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Norris,
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Seidel.
Yes.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Resolution,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Leanne.
Resolution 2020-13 is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
I apologize.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Next section on the agenda is the city manager, Al Braithwaite.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 6 is request council approval to execute a professional services agreement 2020-004 RFQ to general engineering services for transportation and stormwater between the city of Oldsmar and Kimberly Horn and Associates Incorporated. On November 5th, 2019, council authorized the manager to advertise this RFQ for the aforementioned services. On March 24th, 2020, City Council authorized the city manager to negotiate an agreement with the highest ranking firm, which is Kimberly Horn and Associates Incorporated. This contract is for Kimberly Horn and Associates to provide as needed services that may include analysis, design, permitting, and construction management for the city, capital improvement projects, assisting the city in addressing technical and regulatory issues with the Florida Department of Transportation, Department of Environmental Protection, and Southwest Florida Water Management District. Assistance in permit review services, performing stormwater analysis and traffic studies. As a general engineering services agreement, individual work orders will be generated on an as-needed basis. Each work order will be authorized based upon the city purchasing guidelines. The term of the agreement is for 3 years with 2 optional 1-year extensions. The city attorney has reviewed the agreement and has approved to form, and staff recommends approval.
Thank you. The chair will entertain a motion to approve. Do I have a motion? So moves the Vice Mayor. Do I have a second? Second by Councilmember Gannon. Discussion. Sensing you're ready to vote, roll call.
Vice Mayor Norris,
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Seidel.
Yes.
Approval to execute professional services agreement 2020-004 RFQ passes with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you. Item number 7.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 7 is request council approval to authorize the city manager to advertise 2020-11-RFP for Cypress Forest Spray Park renovation. In 2005, the city of Oldsmar completed the construction of a water spray park adjacent to the Cypress Forest Rec Center. Over the 15 years since it's opened, it served countless number of families. Over that same time period, the equipment has begun to show its age as many pieces have faded in color, and the pump system now requires frequent repair to remain operational. In anticipation of renovating the spray park, the City of Oldsmar applied for and was awarded a $200,000 matching grant from the Florida Department of Environmental Protection's Land and Water Conservation Fund program in 2019. This grant, along with the city's $200,000 matching contribution, will fund the renovation of the spray park procured through this RFP, as well as additional improvements to the boardwalk area, restrooms, picnic shelters, and addition of a small play area and a wetland viewing platform procured separately from this renovation RFP. The funding for the renovation of the Cypress Forest Spray Park is $400,000 and is appropriated in the fiscal year 1920 capital improvement budget, and staff recommends approval.
Okay. The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
So moves Gannon, seconded by
Second.
Councilmember Saraki. Discussion? Vice Mayor.
I spoke with Felicia and Al about this, but since it's not specifically worded in here, I remember Councilmember Gannon bringing up the lack of fencing, I think, right, Councilmember Gannon?
That's
And-
correct.
Right, and since I don't have small children of my own, I'm sure that it's something that's very important. So even though it's not in the wording, Felicia and Al said that there would be some fencing. So I just wanted to point that out to the families out there.
Excellent, excellent. Councilmember Gannon?
And that's exactly, Vice Mayor Norris confirmed exactly what I wanted to mention, which is what we've received a couple of emails from residents in the past about the fencing around there, making it a little safer from the adjacent parking area in front of Cypress Forest Rec Center. So I'm really excited about this project and I can't wait to see it get started.
Excellent. Councilmember Saraki?
My grandsons, when they go to the old one, they have a blast. I can't even imagine how the new one will be. And I am really excited, as Councilwoman Gannon just said, I'm excited about this project. Thank you, city staff, for a great job.
All right. Anyone else? Is there anyone left? Councilmember Knapp, you want to add anything? You got the new baby. You're planning ahead. It'll be fenced in, good to go.
After speaking with the city manager earlier, we've planned her second birthday party at the spray park.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, very good. Plan ahead. I like that. Well, I'll tell you, I was out there not too long ago, not playing in it, just to look at it, mind you. And it definitely needs to be updated. So we've planned on this for some time. All right, sensing you're ready to vote, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Norris,
Yes,
Councilmember Saraki,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Seidel.
Yes.
Authorize the city manager to advertise 2020-11-RFP is approved with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you. Item number 8.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 8 is request council approval to waive bid requirements and award to Appalachian Materials Services Incorporated, also known to us as AMS, the sludge hauling and disposal services contract for the city's water reclamation facility, also known to us as the WRF, under the same terms and conditions as the City of Tarpon Springs, Florida bid number IFB 2000049-B-JL on piggyback form 20-021. AMS is Oldsmar's current WRF biosolids hauling and disposal provider and has performed all contractual services satisfactorily. AMS has agreed to allow the City of Oldsmar to piggyback their current agreement with the City of Tarpon Springs, valid through March 12th, year 2025. The city's water reclamation facility projected annual sludge hauling is budgeted not to exceed $150,000 in fiscal year 2020. Funding for this contract is in the water reclamation facility annual budget in Fund 401, and staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
so moved.
No motion?
So
You
moved.
got you want to keep the sludge? What's going on here? Wake up, folks. So moved, Vice Mayor, seconded by Councilmember Saraki. Discussion. Vice Mayor.
Okay, so Nan will expect me to, I'm not gonna ask Nan a question because, again, Felicia and Al answered this question for me, but I think that it's interesting for our citizens to know. I wanted to know, where does it go? And it is made into fertilizer pellets. So I thought that was interesting. And then I also asked the city manager, with the amount of people, the people being home, our amount of biosolids are gonna go up. So how does that affect the amount allotted? but it is done per ton, and they said that there's ways to, it'll be taken care of, because once we can all go back to work, then our biosolids are going to go down. Therefore, we won't have as much tonnage. So it's just science stuff.
We'll be balancing the tonnage, is what you're saying?
Well, the tonnage will go down when everybody goes back to work. Well, unless they all work in the city of Oldsmar, and then I guess it would even out. So anyway, it's just science stuff.
That's an interesting point.
And just science stuff I'm interested in, that's all.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Is there any other sludge discussion? Sensing you're ready to vote, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Norris,
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Seidel.
Yes.
Waive bid requirements and approve or award Appalachian Material Services the sludge hauling and disposal services contract is approved with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Excellent. Item number 9.
Thank you, Mayor. I did wish to make one comment about what Vice Mayor Norris said. I said it can be made into fertilizer pellets. I did not say it was or would be. I only clarified that because I'm sure Public Works Director Bennett is shaking her head as we speak right now. We did talk about it. That's one of the uses industrial. It's not necessarily what happens to ours.
I think Nan actually quickly replaced herself with a snapshot picture so she wouldn't shake her head and make faces. Well played.
I think she was fighting the urge. And Vice Mayor is correct. It does get made into pellets, but that's not necessarily, that's just one of the industrial uses, not necessarily what happens to ours. It's a complicated story.
Excellent. Thank you. Item number 9.
Item number 9 is another purchasing item. Request council approval to waive bid requirements again and use the City of Clearwater contract 16-0016-EN on piggyback form 19-002 for the pricing, terms, and conditions to be the same, and a contract with Central Florida Contractors Incorporated for curb and sidewalk repair and replacement in selected areas citywide. The project involves the replacement of deteriorating and non-conforming sidewalks and curbs in various areas of the city. The work completed through this project will address repairs that are beyond the scheduling capabilities of the current city maintenance personnel. Additionally, this project will address Americans with Disabilities Act or ADA deficiencies in order to comply with current standards. The current priority list is Jefferson Avenue, Fairfield Street, Exeter Street, Congress Street, Dartmouth Avenue, and Buckingham Avenue. Work will be completed based on the unit prices in the Clearwater contract document, not to exceed $80,000, which is budgeted in fiscal year 1920, as found in the Capital Improvement Fund in Fund 302, and staff recommends approval.
Okay. The chair will entertain a motion to accept. Got a motion by Vice Mayor, seconded by Councilmember Saraki. Discussion. I'll tell you what, I love it when we go back and as we redo these and we make them ADA compliant. The amount of feedback that we get is so positive, and people talk about it being life-changing for them. And I don't want to embellish it, but it's really an important thing. And I salute our staff for making sure that we're making those kind of investments in our infrastructure. They not only look good, but they have an impact. So any
Mayor,
other discussion? Yes, Vice Mayor.
Well, since you said that, I campaigned on a scooter with a broken ankle on every sidewalk in the city of Oldsmar. So I agree with you 100%. The ADA requirements for the new sidewalks is going to help so many people, not just people on these scooters, but all ADA. And then I had also asked when Country Club Drive and Timber Bay Circle were scheduled, and we had a discussion about that because those, I would think, would be, they're pretty bad in those two neighborhoods. So yeah. The citizens, I think, would be happy to see that we're doing all these streets now, and then we'll go on to the next step and do even more. Yeah. That's it.
All right. Anyone else? All right. Sensing you're ready to vote, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Norris,
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Seidel.
Yes.
Approval to waive bid requirements and use City of Clearwater contract with Central Florida Contractors for curb and sidewalk repair and replacement passes with 5 votes for and 0 against.
All right, thank you. Is there anything else?
That's it. Thank you, sir.
All right, City Clerk.
Well, today is a big day because I'm 10 years old. It's my 10-year anniversary as city clerk, which means I'm no longer a single-digit midget.
Oh,
I just want to say that, I can't do it without the city council and charter officials and city employees and all of the departments and, of course, Kathy. Oh, Kathy. And so, you guys are just wonderful, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Well, except maybe in council chamber with you guys right now. That's
Very good. I had it on my notes to congratulate you because somebody was kind enough to remind me of it. I won't say Kathy's name, but I think I speak for everybody. Number one, it's hard to believe that it's been 10 years. I remember when the process was taking place and when Lisa was leaving, and what an amazing job that you have done. It's just such a comfort to know that the oversight on our elections and the entire process is done with integrity. It's done with a great compassion for people who are running, who don't understand the process and are learning it. And the entire clerk's office, they really, I don't know, they mirror their leadership in there. And so we're grateful to have you. And I see our city manager has his hand up. So go right ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. One comment, one question. The comment is 35 years in this business. She is by far the best clerk I have ever worked with. The question is Kathy Horvath crying?
Not yet.
I can't see.
not yet.
There she is. Come on, Kath, don't disappoint.
She got her volleyball.
No crying today. I'm very grateful she's the city clerk.
We'll give her a round of applause. We can do that. We're grateful you're here.
Yes, we are.
We're grateful you're here, especially during this crisis, I'll tell you. It is grateful. Do you have any reports?
I do not.
Okay. All right. Next section on the agenda is City Council. Item number 10, discuss holding or canceling advisory board meetings scheduled for the remainder of May 2020. I like to kind of start off the discussion. We have on May 11th, we have the Leisure Services Advisory Board. May 13th, we have the Planning Board. I will tell you, as important as the Planning Board is, and I know that we have an agenda item on that Planning Board, based on the current events, we couldn't really hold that meeting because of the advertising requirements. Not to mention, I know that our city attorney has expressed concerns about trying to hold such a meeting without making sure the full due process was granted to the applicant. And so the Board of Adjustments meeting is the only other meeting that we have in the month of May, which is May 27th. I'll remind everybody that our next council meeting is May 19th. So we still have another meeting beforehand. And certainly based on where we're going on phase 1, on the governor's plan, and where we might be at phase 2, we might be in a position to hold meetings in council chambers again. It would be my recommendation that the action we take tonight would be to cancel the May 11th Leisure Services Advisory Board meeting and the May 13th Planning Board meeting, and leave the May 27th Board of Adjustments until our next meeting. Councilmember Gannon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would make that exact motion to cancel the May 11th Leisure Services Advisory Board meeting, cancel the Planning Board meeting, and wait to make a determination at our next meeting on the May 27th Board of Adjustment meeting. I completely agree with our city attorney as to the due process concerns and the necessity for making sure those go off as to the extent that they can in person.
Outstanding. Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilmember Saraki. Any further discussion? Councilmember Knapp.
Just a question, is from the 19th until the 27th the adequate enough time period for notice for that meeting?
I would defer to our clerk.
It might be tight, but we could look at it more closely. It could work.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, since you're ready to vote, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Norris,
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
and Mayor Seidel.
Yes.
Motion to cancel the May 11th Leisure Services Advisory Board and the May 13th Planning Board, and then to postpone the decision on the Board of Adjustment for the next meeting is approved with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Okay, thank you. Item number 11, discuss extending postponement of permitted events within the city limits through the end of May 2020. I'll point out that as a result of Executive Order 2020-16, canceling the May 25th, 2020 Memorial Day ceremonies, our Heroes 5K run, which they have also canceled, as well as the Chamber postponing their Oldsmar days. You'll recall they postponed it once and they moved it to a Memorial Day weekend. They have since made the decision and formally requested to move it to July 4th, which should be fine. With that being said, we have no permitted items currently scheduled. So I don't believe that we have any action as it relates to canceling events. And the council ratified the executive order I referenced a moment ago. However, I will entertain a motion to not issue any new permitted events for the remainder of May, so that our staff is not being put in a position they can simply answer the question and say the council has prohibited any new issuances through May.
I would move to decline to issue any special events permits through the end of May.
Okay,
I'll
I have a
second.
motion. Do I have a second? Second, Councilmember Knapp. Any further discussion? Since you're ready to vote, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Norris,
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Seidel.
Yes.
Motion not to issue any new permit event for events in May is approved with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is approval of the tentative agenda for May 19th, 2020. Is there anybody who wishes to pull anything from the agenda? Is there anyone who wishes to add anything to the tentative agenda? Okay, the chair would would entertain a motion to pull the awards and recognition item from the tentative agenda and add 2 items. Consider contract amendment for city attorney, and add item, discuss rescheduling of council planning conference.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion from the vice mayor. Do I have a second?
Second?
Seconded by Councilmember Gannon. Any discussion on the amended? Okay, with that, the chair will entertain a motion. Excuse me. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Norris,
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Seidel.
Yes.
Motion to pull awards and recognition and to add a contract amendment with the city attorney and to discuss the council planning conference is approved with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Okay, thank you. The reason I asked to pull the awards and recognition section was because I think, let's just say in the best of circumstances that we're meeting in person at the next meeting. I don't know that it makes sense to provide a venue to invite additional people to the meeting right off the bat. I would also say, just as a practice, I don't believe it takes any action on our part, but maybe a consensus as a directive to staff, and that is, once we do start adding back the awards and recognition, that we're probably going to have a backlog. And I think it might be advisable if we take that slow and maybe limit it to 2 at a time until we feel completely comfortable that we could, by that time we probably will have gone through and be back on track. But it might be a more prudent way, because some who, potentially might be at risk individuals probably would like to come, but we don't want to encourage them to, unintended. And likewise, if it has to do with an employee award, where there is a check involved, our city manager has the complete authority to go ahead and present them with the check because they might want the check and take the plaque later. So I just mentioned that. Is everybody in agreement with that general concept?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, very good. And we don't have any other action because we've already pulled that in our vote. So the tentative agenda has been approved as amended. All right. Item number 13, council comments. At this time, I would like to turn to Councilmember Knapp for comments.
Thank you, Mayor. I really only have one thing that I'd just like to bring up, and I don't know how feasible it will be, but you know, it's unfortunate that we had to cancel the Memorial Day ceremony. And I just wonder if there's any means that we could at least provide some sort of content in a virtual manner for that event. Kind of similar to, I think we've got something coming up Thursday where that's going to be broadcast in a digital format. So we still have, you know, a little bit of time to try to figure that out and see if it makes sense, to see if it's doable. So I just wanted to throw that out there and see what the rest of the council thought. Because obviously, I don't think we can really postpone it. It's that time is really the time for it, and maybe we can find something to do. But that's all I have tonight.
Yeah, and I think that's, you know, an idea worth, I did discuss that with their chairman of the Veterans Advisory Board. I'm going to be candid and tell you, I don't know the outcome, whether that was discussed at their board meeting, because I was there and for part of the board meeting to answer any questions they might have as it related to Memorial Day. I try to make it a practice not to go to advisory board meetings because I kind of feel it's important to keep hands off as one of the elected officials. But I know that Assistant City Manager Felicia Donnelly was there. I don't know if you want to comment on that.
I can. So the Veterans Advisory Board did discuss that, and then they decided not to do it. And they decided not to do it because they felt that they wanted to make sure that there was enough investment of time and staging that so that it would be dignified, and they just felt like having that online interface wouldn't do it justice for a dignified type of ceremony because it's Memorial Day and not Veterans Day. And then they also talked about that there are other national organizations that will be doing something, so we can point at that through an interface. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. All right. You know, and I'll mention to Councilmember Knapp's point, I know it's my intention, and I would encourage everyone to do so, and that is to really promote a tradition that has seemed to not be given the same respect, and that is people flying the American flags on Memorial Day. You know, it would be wonderful to see more flags out than ever before from our citizens on that day, so that when our veterans and families rather who have experienced a loss, when they're driving around town, they know that we may not be having an event, but people are definitely thinking of them. And so, you know, maybe that's one way, and there might be some other way that some people are talking about doing along that line. So we'll see. All right, Councilmember Knapp, any other comments?
That's it from me. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Saraki.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to start out by saying congratulations to Ann for 10 years. I think that's wonderful. Ann, I know you've helped me so much over the few years I've been here, and I just want to say thank you and congratulations. The next thing is I want to bring up a story. I think you guys remember I told you that my water line broke on a Saturday. The city came out and fixed it. But you're not going to believe this. A week later, my reclaimed water line broke, and the city came out and replaced everything inside the 2 boxes in the water and the reclaimed water, and they saved my 2 beautiful oak trees. So I want to just say thank you to city staff for doing a wonderful job and getting it done so fast. Friday, I was sworn as the president of the Suncoast League of Cities. And I just want to say thank you to the city staff for showing up with your masks and coming out to the event. It was only out there for 5 minutes, but thank you so much. It means a lot to me and Paula. I just wanted to say thank you. We sure do live in a special city. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. And congratulations, Dan. I have it on my list, but I'll just say it now. I know we would have all liked to have been there. I think we're all planning on going to your installation dinner. And when the time is right, we'll certainly celebrate it in person. All right.
Yep.
And let me ask you, as it relates to infrastructure at the house, did you lose your internet by any chance?
No.
Okay. All right. I just wondered if there was any accidents out there. All right. Let's see. Council member Gannon.
It was an old line they cut, not a new line.
Got it. All right.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a couple of things. I wanted to say something about Memorial Day as well, but you said it best, Mayor. I think flying the flags is a great way to have a visual representation of an event that needs to happen, within our hearts and outwardly every year, even if we can't all be together. I think that's a fantastic idea. And I know a lot of people are sad that we're not having that event, but at the same time, understanding. I just wanted to say, I think that's a fantastic idea. Hey, listen though, this morning I recorded a special little video segment to be included on Oldsmar's National Day of Prayer, which will go off on Facebook on this Thursday night, May 7th at 7 p.m. You can go on Facebook and search Oldsmar National Day of Prayer or Oldsmar House of Prayer and see the presentation that they're going to put together. You might recall last year it was held in council chambers. It was a very moving event. It's not necessarily any denomination. It's just about, being together and being supportive. And I think that it can be accomplished and done quite well online. So I know some other city leadership members are also going to be recording a little video segment. I look forward to watching it and kind of feeling the community of that event. Thank you so much to Anne for 10 years. Can't believe that. You are fantastic. You are absolutely superb at your job in every way. Thank you for everything that you do. I wanted to also thank city staff for continuing to really just show up. I mean, the day the pickleball courts are supposed to open, I was out there that morning on a run, and Chip, the team's out there, they're putting the pickleball nets up. People were looking forward to that, as we know via many emails, so much. And you all are right there on the ball, even with the sidewalks, whether it was a planned project or not. There's another cut through, a safer way to cross right in front of RE Olds. They made a new cut through, and I just on Shore Drive, and I just see you guys everywhere all the time, and it's fantastic. And I know our other residents do too. And I'm just so grateful for all the department heads and all the work that is still getting done despite everything. Just one more thing, a lot of people are kind of diametrically opposed on this whole opening up and not opening up. And I just wanted to remind everybody to be respectful of other people's, desires and wishes. To the extent you want to take things slow, take things slow. To the extent you want to go out, I'd encourage you to support a local business. If you want to try out a restaurant or something, maybe go somewhere local. Go to an Oldsmar restaurant. And show that businesses some support, And that's all I had tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. On the pickleball, I will comment this. So I was out exercising this morning, and I went by there. And for those who are watching, we have had a lot of communications with the pickleball community. And so I went out there. The courts were full, and there were spectators. But I have to tell you, all of the spectators literally had their chairs separated by more than 6 feet. And I pulled up and I got a smirk, and I asked them if they were having a good time. And I told them that I was the mayor. And I just thank them for doing it the right way, right? Because you always worry when you open it up, but there is a standing invitation to the entire council and staff that anytime you want to go learn the game of pickleball, there's a league out there that has your invitation engraved. So hats off to the job that they did. All right, Vice Mayor.
Okay, going last, a lot of stuff has already been covered, but I still want to say a few things, if y'all don't mind. Katie mentioned in the National Day of Prayer, I have to thank Katie because last year it was inside and it was so moving for me. Katie was sitting right next to me when they started praying for the family that have military that are active duty, and I started crying. And Katie and I hadn't even known each other all that well, and she just put her arm around me, and it was just so powerful. And thank you for that. It's a moment I'll never forget. And so just to remind everybody that it is on Facebook, National Day of Prayer, just 7 o'clock on Thursday. And of course, Anne, 10 years, I love your single digit midget thing. So for staying with the city clerk, I have to say happy birthday to Kathy Horvath because her birthday is the 10th, right? It's coming up the 10th, right? So on birthdays, I also want to say that, of course, I got to be with Jerry Beaverland on his 85th birthday. When he says older than dirt, 85, that's a pretty good one. And he is doing very well, just so you guys know. He had a lovely birthday. And then also Fire Lieutenant Kenny Saran, he had a birthday on the 2nd. And let's see, you guys already went over everything. Memorial Day, maybe Mayor, maybe it would be, I don't know if this is possible, but where we have the art thing, the art containers, is there any way we can just put a line of flags so when people come around 580 and they see City Hall and then there's just a line of flags and then a nice saying?
Well, Vice Mayor, I would say that great minds think alike. And your mayor has, and I have not talked to our city manager, our assistant city manager, and the brain trust over there, but I have started to make some calls to some of our excellent companies here in Oldsmar and ask them if they might be willing to participate in a project like that. And
I think that would be beautiful because it's such a
I wanted to
beautiful-
make it a surprise.
Oh, sorry. Well, other than the thousands of people that are watching this video, I won't say a word after this. How about that?
It's all
Okay,
good.
good. And I'm going to be having a more formal announcement at the next meeting, but we are completely and totally ready to swear in all of our officers for the VFW auxiliary, and we will be doing it at a park on the 23rd. So I'll talk more about it in council comments on the next one. There's one office that we're working on who's going to hold one office, but it's very exciting that is going to be done. It is scheduled for the 23rd. So we will be having a lot of veterans there. And of course, we're all going to be practicing social distancing and all that good stuff. But I'll talk about that more at the next one. And the only other thing that I have, oh, congratulations, Danny! Presidenza Racket! Awesome. And the only other thing I have is to let residents of Pinellas County know we got this press release regarding Pinellas County residents get COVID-19 test at no cost. So they're having 3 different sites that I think that it'd be best if Anne maybe or somebody, Felicia, puts it on the website so that anybody that's watching this, just to get it out there, or maybe Mayor, you post it and we can all repost it or whatever. But anybody, even if you have no symptoms, you can get a free COVID-19 test starting today. So maybe I don't know who's responsible for posting this kind of stuff, but I think it's good information to get out to our residents in case anybody wants to get a test. And that's all I got. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you. I did post that. I got the same release. I posted it earlier, but I know the city normally takes it and they have this process where they actually make it look good. And they make sure the grammar is actually correct, which is really important for your mayor, as you know. So then they fix it up and send it back out, and then I repost theirs. So
Okay. Well,
makes
I
it,
actually
but in any
took some-
event, it's out there. I've learned to copy and paste precisely what they put out. So
Oh,
in any
okay.
event, all right. Well,
Thank
thank you. Thank you. All right, Anne, congratulations once again. You know, it really is a privilege to work with you. And, you know, I've said this before, you know, when you go through tough times, it's really when you learn a lot about the people you work with. And I couldn't feel stronger about the people here in the city. Clearly, these are such unprecedented times, and your leadership is part of that. And so congratulations and thank you. And we look forward to the next 10 years. National Day of Prayer. It's coming up this Thursday. If you've never witnessed it, it to me is really quite a moving thing, as Vice Mayor talked about and Councilmember Gannon. And I'll tell you how many people affiliated with the event have said how much they pray for this council. And that's powerful. You know, they pray for our city leaders, our staff, our team. And so anyhow, if you've not experienced it, please look it up on Facebook. It's really worth viewing. And I know they'll do a wonderful job with it, being online. Congratulations, Councilmember Saraki, on being sworn in as the president of the Suncoast League of Cities. That's a huge honor. I commented on it earlier, but I just wanted to make a point of congratulating you on your hard work. And I know that you will be successful and it will be good for the league. So good stuff. Let's see. I was going to ask, next item I have is I'd like to get just a very brief update on how things are progressing with Simone Group on the hotel. So if I could defer to the city manager.
Mayor, I'd like to ask Felicia Donnelly to give that update, as she's been a little closer to the current negotiations than I have.
Okay, thank you. Felicia.
We are navigating quite a complicated site. So the site's complicated. It sits in 2 different drainage basins. You guys probably didn't know that before I just told you. And then also this project consists of 2 site plans for a development agreement, right? So we have the before the parking garage site plan that has temporary parking on it. And it includes, you know, leasing of a different area for that temporary parking. And then we have after we build the parking garage, and that when that parking is eliminated. So we're actually working on 2 different site plans with Simone Development. And we met today with the engineer, Northside Engineering, and we discussed our site plan, our review comments to try to really pin down the area that is going to be needed for the additional parking. So we're in that process right now. We've drafted, or Tom has drafted, I'm looking at you, Tom, it's 4 different legal documents too. So we have a development agreement, we have a surface parking lease agreement, we have a declaration of restrictive covenants, and then we have a parking garage lease. So those 4 documents have been drafted already. So we're waiting really to get the site plan really buttoned up into something that is workable for us. And so that's where we are right now for the Simone development. We also issued you all authorized the advertisement for the RFQ for the infrastructure improvements. And so that included the master planning of the whole site and the engineering and development of all the public space. So that's the roads, the streetscape, the hardscape, anything above and below the ground, including all the park spaces. So we put that out on the street, and we're expecting the responses are due on May the 27th. So that's where we are right now.
Okay. City Attorney, is there anything you want to add to that from your perspective?
No, we've got the 4 drafts that have been mentioned by Felicia. There's also one other document that needs to be completed, and that's the purchase and sale agreement. That is one of the last documents that need to be prepared. But when we have the site plans done and we're a little bit farther down the road on that, then we could forward over the draft of the development agreement and the other agreements that I prepared to the Simone group for them to review. We're not at that point yet. The drafts that I provided to the city need to be actually vetted through city staff as well. So, but there is one other document that I will be providing to the city, and that's the purchase and sale agreement. Well, I'm going to be doing that shortly. So.
Okay. The question I would have, in the city manager can answer this. I'm sure he's up to speed on it, and that is how, in general terms, satisfactory, unsatisfactory, however you want to put it, more generic. I mean, how are things progressing in terms of progress?
Slow, difficult. As Felicia explained, it's a complicated piece of property, but we have challenges and we're trying to meet to knock them out one by one, but it's been slow.
Okay. Well, the reason I ask is because I get the sense that there is not the level of, it's not the level of documentation that we would expect to see each time there seems to be a round of submissions. And it seems to be what we receive from the Simone group, in particular in the engineering area. It sounds as if it is, and I recognize it's a complicated piece of property, but it doesn't seem to be, it seems to be deficient, might be a good word, a polite word to put it. And, based on comparison to other type projects that we've been involved in, would that be a fair statement? Am I overstating it, or no, this is just typical?
I wouldn't disagree with that assessment.
Because I recognize that we've got COVID that we've been dealing with, which has certainly made things difficult on everybody's business and operations. But I also recognize that every time I seem to ask about it in the one-on-ones, just, hey, how's it going with this? How's it going? There always just seems to be a deficiency in what we receive, and it seems as if it's becoming a growing problem. And I would like to see, we're 2 weeks out from our next meeting, maybe put together kind of a more in-depth agenda item. And I would ask that we add that unless the council has a problem with that or any concern with that. And we would then vote on it at the beginning of the meeting as a new agenda item, or I can move to reconsider the tentative agenda. But I think it's important as we get back on track that we understand where we're at in progress. And to be very candid, they were the top ranked. There is a second one ranked. And so we need to know that that progress is happening, or we need to go back and revisit whether we move to the second ranked, because the timelines that we're supposed to have been adhered to have long passed. And so if that is going to be a reoccurring theme, I certainly think we should have a discussion about, is that going to be a never-ending theme? Or, does this council need to revisit that and take some time? So, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to entertain a motion to reconsider the tentative agenda for the purpose of adding a current status on first rank town center hotel submissions.
Make a motion to reconsider the tentative agenda to include a discussion as to the first ranked submission.
I second.
Do I have a second? Okay, any discussion on that? I actually need to first make a motion to reconsider. So I'll entertain up to that, if that's okay with Councilmember Gannon, and seconded by Councilmember Saraki. Is there any further discussion on that? Councilmember Norris. Vice Mayor, I'm sorry.
So are we, it,
So
I
here's
just
what this motion, if this motion passes, what would happen is we would then reconsider the tentative agenda, which would allow us to add
oh,
an
so we're
item.
only reconsidering the tentative agenda. We're not reconsidering the ranking.
That is correct. We're just,
Okay,
in order to put it on the agenda, because we've been a stickler
Gotcha.
about it, we're going to stick to it. All right, so is there any other discussion? Sensing you're ready to vote, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Norris,
yes.
Councilmember Saraki,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Seidel.
Yes.
Motion to reconsider the tentative agenda is approved with 5 votes for and 0 against.
And the chair would entertain a motion to accept the tentative agenda as amended earlier with the addition of status update, current status of first rank town center hotel submission.
So moved.
I have a
Second.
motion from the vice mayor, a second from Councilmember Gannon. Any further discussion? Sensing you're ready to vote, roll call.
Vice Mayor Norris,
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Seidel.
Yes.
Motion to add, approve the tentative agenda with the addition of the current status of first ranked hotel submission passes with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you. All right. The chair will entertain a motion to return to council comments.
So moved.
Or second.
Second.
I have a motion from Gannon, second by Knapp. Any discussion? Sensing you're ready to vote. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Norris,
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Seidel.
Yes.
Motion to return to council comments passes with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you. All right, moving on. COVID update. We have 9 cases now here in the city of Oldsmar. But I think an important factor, and I'm sharing this really more for public consumption. I know our council members are well aware of this. In some of the calls that we sit on with the county administrator and the sheriff and some other elected officials from throughout the county, I think the number that they're going to really focus in on as a guide why they have started implementing the governor's phase 1 is the occupancy related to COVID cases in the hospitals, because people get the flu on a regular basis, but the COVID flu is a different type. And certainly those, when you see a spike, I think the health officials feel like when there's a spike and people going into the hospitals, then it becomes even a higher level of concern. And that's just kind of resharing information. It's not necessarily the cities. Of course, we've opened up Mobley South support, which the beach area, so people can go to the beach over there. I noticed there were some people over there today, and everybody's social distancing as required. Tennis courts and pickleball courts back open. As I said, we're in phase 1. I do want to make a comment. The city has posted the actual combined state and county executive order. And so I've been asked by a lot of people, do we fall into this category? Do we fall into this category? And I'm going to quote what the sheriff said as it related to who can open. And of course, they have the 25% capacity as it relates to retail and restaurants and ensuring that they are following safe CDC social distancing. But if you are not on the prohibited list, then you're approved to open. That's the way he's applying it. So if your business is not on that list, then it is okay to open. If you are on that list or you fall into that category, unfortunately, the governor has not included you in their first phase. And I've been asked, when's phase 2 coming? Like I'm sure many of you. Of course, we're on the local level. We don't, while we get a lot of information, we don't get precisely what the governor's thinking. But as soon as we get that information, we'll pass it on. But I would say overall, things seem to be going very well here. I want to thank the city staff for their excellent work in putting together the plan to allow our restaurants to get a temporary permit to be able to expand their outdoor seating. It's a good way for us to help our restaurants who are trying to get back on their feet. And to Councilmember Gannon's point, absolutely, you should govern yourself based on your own feelings and where you're at. You know, if your health's not great, I'd stay home. You know, it just makes sense. Why risk it? This too shall pass. It's horrible that we've lost anybody over this, but you know, for those who feel they're in good health and they're practicing safe social distancing, get out and support our restaurants. I mean, you know, I think it's really important as they start to open up, whatever we can do, and also I'd say this, tip big, right? Because there's a lot of people who have gone without, and so in any event, the Oldsmar Task Force has been working on their final report, and so the recovery team, if you want, recovery task force, I won't go into it too much, but I hope that I would expect we'll probably have that by the next meeting for us all to look at and discuss and see if there's any action that we can take. Here's the thing about that committee, right? They're all people who are, you know, they're outcome driven people, right? They're like, don't like to meet for the purpose of meeting. They meet to accomplish something for an outcome. And the probably the most frustrating thing about being on the management side of what's going on is it's so fast moving and we don't control a lot. And fortunately for us, there are programs with entities in government that have much larger budgets that are stepping in and creating these vehicles. And so, you know, I think a lot of focus has been on the importance of communications. And so the staff and the city's been doing that kind of work. So we'll see what comes, but I know they're like, we want to do this, but we can't do that. And the situation changes already. And so it's one of those things, but they've been working hard. All right, next council meeting. We're going to leave things as they are right now. However, if things change, improve, and there's just general consensus that we are well under on our way, you know, we certainly might entertain meeting in person. We would make provisions to spread out the council and do all those things. And I mentioned this only so I would put it in your mind. We're not going back to it immediately. However, that could change between now and the next 2 weeks. The way it would change is I would sign an order to cancel the executive order that's allowing us to do this. But I would shoot it out to everybody like we've been doing, so you have an opportunity to read it before anything's final. And that gives you a chance to reach out to the city manager and you know, raise those points that may not have been considered. And I just appreciate everybody's work on all of this as a team in a very difficult time. So I will once again thank the staff for all of their hard work. I think I drive them crazy, but that might be anything new. But I am grateful that we have the team that we do. With that, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Gannon, seconded by Knapp. Does not require a vote, and we are adjourned. Thank you all.